It being spring and the warmer temperatures are now on the rise, in Australia here, that is tick season from September till about April. So what you want to do earlier on in the cycle between now and December is try and break that cycle and minimize the amount of ticks that are going to breed in the ground. And this is what this video is about, is how to break that cycle so you've got minimal ticks going year on, year on, year on down the track. So then it becomes just a maintenance and not an issue with the mass amount of ticks. As you can see, we purchased a set of scales. It's a Gallagher 1. It is, sorry, Gallagher W1, I should say. In the past, we've been doing our weights by going off the appearance of the animal, which could be well and truly anywhere between 50 and 100 kilos out. The issue is you might be underdosing your livestock or overdosing, which is costing you a copious amount of extra money. But underdosing, then you're not getting the dose the animal requires, so you're not going to kill the ticks. So we thought to take it seriously, we've really got to get a good weighing system and measure each animal and give them the required dose. So today we're just going to play around, get it set up, because we've never used it before. And in the morning, a bright and early start, Nicole's excited about that. About 4 o'clock we'll be up, and then we'll come out, get them in, and then we'll start the weighing and dosing. I'll go through the setup and what I purchased. I'll start with the back. So that's the ramp. I had the choice of either buying a 1-piece ramp or a 2-piece ramp. And myself and Nicole's not getting any younger, especially Nicole's. She's getting a bit of age on her now. What I bought 2 pieces for also is because we're doing them here on the other farm and also on the trial property, we can easily fit them in the back of the car, otherwise they're going to be hanging over the tailgate. Also the weight. The weight's been halved for both of us. And then it comes with, I bought the W1, so obviously that's your printout, your screen. Can't quite see it, the sun's on it. And then it comes with 2 load bars. So those load bars obviously fit underneath the slot at the end of those platforms there. And then the cables have got wire on them, so if you walk on them all, they're crush proof and they connect up to the scales. So we'll get it all together and we'll have a play with it. We've got our equipment set up. We've got our first culprits in there now. We just give them a bit of grain, entice them in, gave them a bit of hay. So they're in there chewing away, having some green clippings, which they haven't been getting because winter's just passed and we've got this drought coming, and the grass, as I showed you yesterday, was pretty dry and dormant. So my beautiful assistant has set up the table ready for us to go. She's got it laid out there well. Got that. That was the simplest machine, the Gallagher W1. Easy to get started, easy to we've never used one before, but it was very basic. Pretty simple to get started. We'll get cracking and get these first 4 girls done, I think. Good girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Got our first heifer up, yearling heifer. She weighs in at 300 kilos. So she's going to need, she's 300, we'll just go up one. So we'll go 35 mil. Because it's 251 to 300 is 30 mil. Because she's right on that 300, we'll just go up to the 301. So we'll give her 35 mil.
Yeah.
Weight on that one, Dale?
548. That's 548. So we're going to go 55.
55. I'm going 29, so the...
Yep.
Yes.
Down. There we go. There we go. Come this way, good girl. When it comes to tick treatment, you've only got two programs you can follow. One is either eradication or the other one is a controlled program. The difference being is if you're in a tick-free zone, the only choice you've got is eradication. If you notice ticks on your animals in a tick-free zone, it is notifiable, which means it's reportable under the Biosecurity Act 2014. It must be reported, in our case, to Biosecurity Queensland, so they can note it. You treat it, and they do regular inspections until it's tick-free again, because you cannot have any ticks in a tick-free zone. In our case, we are in a tick zone, so eradication isn't possible due to the fact that we got neighbouring cattle properties on either side, and if they're doing the same treatment, you're going to get ticks from their properties. Also, floods. We've had two big floods 2 years ago. Ticks float down and larvae in the floodwaters, so you're going to get an infestation there from properties up the river. Also, vehicle and truck movements going past your property. We got cattle trucks coming past, and we get we get hay, and we cart cattle from one property to another, so you're going to get ticks there. Also, airborne. On windy days, the larvae which have set in the pasture ready to jump onto a host animals that walk past, on windy conditions, they can get blown from properties or 2 or 3 properties down and end up on your property. So there's no way you can go down the eradication route in a tick zone. The only choice you've got then is a controlled program. So what we plan doing, or what we have started, you've seen us in the crush there, is the first year we're going down the eradication route. Not to eradicate, we know that's not possible, but because we've got a mass number on this property, we wish to reduce that number down. So the first year we go on a process of eradication, which means we started our treatment, that one you've seen in the crush, was the September. And then what we plan doing then is going right through till mid-March. So what we're doing is we're bringing those numbers down. And the second year of treatment, we plan going down a control program, which means we start the treatment, same again, it's always mid-September, but we'll only be going to December. And then from then on, it'll be a case of, if it's hot, humid conditions and we get rain, and just say the numbers increase due to those hot, humid conditions, we may have to do another treatment come late January or February. After that second year onwards, all we plan to do is hopefully just use that controlled program to keep the tick burden low. But if we get a bad year of a lot of rain in the whole summer months where it's hot and humid and the tick population explodes, then we got the option of going back to eradication and then hopefully back to a controlled program following years after to keep that tick number or tick burden at a very low level. If there's only one thing you take from this video in breaking the tick cycle, is to play the game to win, you must remember these things. The larvae jump onto the livestock or onto the host when the weather warms up at the end of winter, early spring. That's when your first treatment must be, because they're on that animal, if you remember from the previous video, for a 3-week period. So you need time for that poison to get into the bloodstream of the animal so the ticks then take it in. So you're treating in spring to prevent the eggs being viable and being laid in October and then hatching in December. So if you're only treating them once, the September treatment, whether it be drenching or injectable, is the most important time, because you're preventing that first lot of larvae dropping onto the ground in October and laying 3,000 eggs, which then hatch in December. See, what you've got to remember is when you treat September, that 3 weeks period they're dropping off, which is roughly around that first week in October. Then it takes 9 to 60 days for those viable eggs to hatch. So you're treating September, and some treatments actually paralyze the tick so they can't actually drop off and lay the eggs. It also can stop the molting process. So if you get in there early enough, specific poisons stop them molting. So unless they can get to that adult stage, they're not viable, they cannot produce eggs. So the critical is September. They drop off with the poison, they can't lay the eggs, and what eggs are there or do survive will then hatch in December, because it takes, like I said, 60 days, so December, January. And that's why you keep the treatments up for that first 3 months. October, November, December. Watch your days check out the back of each poison, it'll say the period of effect. If you stick to those up to December, you're pretty well broken that cycle, and you may have few ticks that go through January, February that you can treat then, or one treatment, and then you've broken that cycle, and it definitely should have reduced number the following year. We hope we've added some benefit there into the insight of the ticks and their cycle and their treatments. And as you can see, we're getting into a drought here. It's still September, but as you can see, probably if you're in the video and I was moving around, it's really dry here. So we're in the process of trying to keep as much coverage on the ground as possible. So to do that, we've been rolling bale feeding as well to limit the amount of chewing or overgrazing. So on that note, we better go roll out some hay. So have a good morning, have a great afternoon, and a terrific evening, guys, wherever you're watching this from, and we'll catch you later.